Righty. Yes, we're doing the live stream thing here, and the room is getting very full. So what we're going to end up doing is, welcome to the Varied Life. I'm Steve, the retired hobby tech guy, and today what we're going to be doing is figuring out what's inside this box, doing the unboxing and setup of the Creality K2 Plus. So that's going to be really interesting. So we got a few seconds left, and yeah, this is going to be interesting. So if you look in the video, you'll see a little box up here which shows a top-down view with that camera, and then of course this one here, and we're going to do the unboxing, and we're going to start rolling with this. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, we're just going to go ahead and start off with the unboxing. And this is a heavy box. It's, I'd say, close to 90 pounds, maybe even a little bit more when you start adding up the net weight, which is like 35 kilos. The CFS is another 4.56 kilos, and then you have filament and all the other stuff that's included, excluding the packaging, the foam, the cardboard, the extra whatever stuff. Yeah, it's a doozy, and that's why it says team lift. So it's a good thing I go to the gym, handle with care. And what I love about Korea, I'm a retired Korean or American expat who lives in Korea, retired here, is that the delivery folks here in Korea are way better. They take a lot more pride generally as a whole than delivery drivers in the United States. So my hat's off to all the Korean delivery drivers, and the guy that delivered this, I gotta buy him lunch because I know he was hurting for certain. I mean, I know he has a little hand card and stuff like that, but still, this is a very big thing. So we're just gonna start off, and if you notice up here on the top, what it ends up having, matter of fact, oh, we got some, I can actually read, lawfully armed. I'm happy for you. Missed your old training and prepper content. Yes, I do too. I miss my guns, and I wonder if they miss me too. So that was a long time ago. I had a channel, Safe Arms Review, and then there was a whole story about that. But we're going to do this unboxing. But hey, the original OG viewer, I appreciate that. So we're going to go through, but on the top here is something really interesting. So I want to kind of show you that, and we will just click on this. And on the top here, you have steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then you have a QR code. That QR code will open up when you scan that with your phone into an instructional set of instructions that talk about being redundant, but it shows you how to do the setup, the unboxing and the setup and everything. So that's kind of cool. I really appreciate that. So we're just going to start off here and take these out. So what you end up doing is pinching them, and these are reusable. So when I move to my next apartment, we will be able to use the box again. So maybe I've got one more move that I gotta do, which isn't too bad, but let's see, what time is it? Let's take a look, kind of it's about 5 after. So it says remove that, and then we gotta lift up the box, because that removes. Now the question is it going to run into the camera? Maybe. Barely. Good Lord, seriously. You have to move this a little bit. I told you. Wow. That is a big box. Let's go ahead and get this back down here so we can take a look and see what we got. So, for reference, keep an eye out, and it talks about removing this part. It's a pretty good cardboard there. Not bad. And then this part is next. So it looks like it's 1/2 inch foam, something like that. Then I have to do this, and to do that, okay. So far, so good. Not bad. I don't want things falling off of here. So the next thing it says to take off the corners. And that's some heavy duty cardboard. So that is appreciated. More foam, which is nice. Big, heavy, thick cardboard here. You can take a look at that. So that is nice. Yeah, this is gonna be good. And then we have more foam on each side, which is a decent amount of foam. We'll throw those there. And I think that's what we got. The room is getting small. Now, ooh, nice. So then it talks about lifting this up and taking this out. This is going to be interesting because this thing is a beast. So maybe now to let you know, I skipped the gym today. Oh, good Lord. Seriously. Now to give you a view of this and so I can get a breather. These are the holes for the feet, which just go, there's a little bit of plastic in there. And a lot of people were complaining on how the feet weren't protected. There's actually a piece of wood underneath this. You have these corners. And then it's just another piece of cardboard. So there's a lot of good packing in here. The problem is if you threw this, that's probably why people have the problems with the feet breaking. Ta-da. And I want to make sure I don't pull an Uncle Jesse. Where door flings open and things break. So thank you, Uncle Jesse, for making us aware of that. Oh, good Lord. That is a beast. And It doesn't help that it's on a folding table either. Alrighty. That is a workout. Jeez. Should have had pre-workout before I started doing this. Alrighty. We'll get to this. We've got, it already has the front door, so I'm assuming this right here is the top glass. So it talks about removing that. And it's nice. They actually folded the tape over so that you could grab it. That is nice. So add a little bonus. Just fold this in on itself. And we're gonna have to take this off. Yeah, this is the top plate. So let's pull out Mr. Knife again. And it does have a little pull tab thing, perforated cardboard tab that you pull to open it up. So that's kind of cool. Yep, sure does. So we got that. There's actually a pull tab perforated, pulls across, so I'll do that a little bit. Set this aside so it doesn't get damaged. And now let's get a top-down view and we'll take a look of what we got going on. So we're going to switch to that view. So the first thing we end up having is the Creality installation guide. So, that looks like we got some cool stickers. Quality certificate by Creality. We got a guide. We got some cool stickers. Okay, throw those aside. After sales service card, so that's good to know. Quick installation guide for the CFS. And then the quick installation guide, which probably has a bunch of different languages, yeah. So, yeah, not bad. And then let's see what else we have. We have all these little things here. So we shall see what these little things are. This is the touchscreen. So we'll definitely need that. We'll set that aside. And bonus accessory. What is the bonus accessory? Can you figure that out? Maybe a hot end? Or, no, it looks like clips, screws, some little extra piece. Oh, some wipe strips, thermal grease. What else we got? Another cutter. Another PFT tube connector, and then some type of small circuit board with a connector on there. So we will be sure to not throw this away. So we got that. This is kind of easy. So this is the additional spool holder, which I think that's it. That's the size that you get in the receptacle. So when you have the spool holder on the side of the machine, oh, this is nice. Creality, that's such an awesome job. So it has a bag and it identifies and shows you a picture of how this piece goes on to the piece of equipment for the display screen. That is a nice touch. And here we have filament swatches. A filament swatch. So, ooh, look at that. So we can go through all of the different colors that they have, and they also have the name of it on there. So if we take a look at that, so if you wanted to pick out and have a certain color, like let's say certain PLA colors or whatever, you can see that. That's kind of a cool little thing. I like that. Stylish. Let's set that aside. We have our power cord. You might be wondering why this is different. Because I live in Korea. So we got that. And then we have buffer screws. And this is for, I guess, the piece that goes on, which is this thing. Yep, that's what this is for. So we have this, and then they have the screws and the Allen wrench included. So yeah, again, something that makes life easy. Digging at Creality. Ooh, what's this? Ah, look at that. So we have a toolbox. That is nice. So we got some sprue cutters, which is nice. We got some other stuff here. I wonder what that is. Oh, a little screwdriver, Allen keys. It's got tip sets and bits for all the stuff that you need. Again, the Allen keys, which is nice. Looks like we've got, what is this? Glue stick. Interesting to note is that I was chatting with somebody and they were talking about how you can use glue stick, but they end up using Aquanet, lubricant grease for rods and things like that. Nice, I like this. So we will be using this. Oh, and there's something else in there. What else do we have? Ah, I think that's what you use to clear the nozzle. So a decent little toolbox there to put everything together. So we'll set that aside. And now we have, again, a reference QR code for the detailed after sales service tutorials. And here we have cables and bogey tubes, which these go on the CFS to the machine. So that we've got those. And then we've got a short PTFE tube. We have the spool holder. We have the long one, which goes down to the thing that hooks up to the other thing. And then, oh, we have spare tubing as well. Awesome, great. I like that even better. So now, let's see, what is the next step talk about doing? So it talks about taking all this stuff out. And grab this and pull up. That's some beefy Got some beefy packaging. Oh, we got something else here. Ah, look at that. We have a nozzle, 0.4 nozzle. That might come in handy. I don't know if that's an extra, a spare. I don't know. Interesting. We will see. And is that nozzle hardened steel? I think it is. I think it's a hardened steel nozzle. If you look right on that tip, you can see it's silver. So cool. Hopefully that's a spare. And then we have some filaments. This one is Hyper PLA red. So red. And then we have another one. This is the blues. And I think there's also a white and a black. So, move that down a little bit. Again, some good packaging. More foam. Boy, they did a good job on the foam, that's for sure. And we have our CFS system here. And that moves around. And so we got our CFS, which it looks like there's a bracket. Yeah, there's some screws there, I think. But yeah, there's a couple screws this hold, so that comes out. But we got our head. We already have this. It has some clips for the chain, the cable chain. The only thing I'm kind of concerned with is, will this drag on when you have the top plate on? I guess we'll find that out. But I am interested in getting a riser on that just to take that variable out of the mix. So now let's go ahead and go to the front, and we will continue. And we'll switch this around. Lots of tape. And film. Ooh, that is nice. So, let's see what we got here. How far does that door open? Oh, that's nice. That's not bad. Get you kind of a view there. I think what we'll end up doing is we'll take this down, since we don't really need that. Talks about a bracket here for transport only. This is transport only. So, as you've noticed, I'm not really going through and checking how to take all this apart. Ooh, there's even film on the sides. Am I the only one that doesn't take film off of a lot of electronics? Maybe. So it talks about taking those brackets off. Let me pull up and I'll show you let me get the QR code on this. And to show you how this comes up on the Creality unboxing. You have a bunch of stuff. So it has the unboxing, general unboxing guide, which is on the top. And then you can see it's got a bunch of detailed pictures. Thankfully my ceiling was high enough that I could take that off. But just going through the steps, common sense, but if you're tired, hungover, had too much beverage the night before, you go through and follow all these steps, which is pretty nice. So we did that. And now we got to take off. Now this is a little bit different because this has the CFS in it. So this one, this instructional book reference, yeah, it doesn't have the CFS on there. So we got a little bit of a difference that we got to do. So we get our handy toolbox. And we shall remove, but which one is it? Is it this one? No. Is it this one? Yes. It's always the last one. Imagine that. What are the odds? And so it looks like we've got a number of screws. So we shall keep these screws. We'll just put them in the top of the box there. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and then they got some other screws down here for this bracket. 2 more down here. And then there's a screw on each side as well. You know what I really need to get? Is the little cordless screwdriver. Tell you what I'm going to do, since I'm already heating up. Get some air in here because it's 37 degrees outside, but I'm already starting to sweat. So if you hear some background noise, it's just delivery people, trash trucks around the apartment, stuff like that. So let's see if we can speed this up a little bit. With a different kit. Let's see if we have the right size for this. I need to get like an electric screwdriver, a little rechargeable guy. Is that the right size? No, it's not the right size. That's the right size. So, will this work? Yep. I mean, it did have that little piece in here that it could do that. So why am I reinventing the wheel? I don't know. I could do that. And then, yeah, why am I reinventing the wheel? It has its own kit. That's too small. Put that one. There it is. So, yeah. Will this fit? Really? Okay. So yeah, we've got a little press fit thing in there. So yeah, I don't even have to use my own tools. But I will tell you, that the metal on these bits are cheap. So remember that. And let's see what else. And yeah, that. I'm not sure why that had Loctite on it. Okay, it came off fairly easy. Put that there, and I still need to take off this one, which, good Lord. That is a doozy. Again, I'm glad I go to the gym. But the tip, ooh, the tip is magnetic. Thumbs up to Creality for making a magnetic tip. And including that, as far as putting Loctite on those brackets. Good Lord. Seriously. And Creality for an upgrade. So it's got the knurling on here so you can get a grip. But as I'm down on the inside of that, it's all nice and smooth here. So, yeah, that's going to be a bear to get out. Let's see if we get these out. And they have Loctite on them. Which for transport, I don't think you need Loctite. Oh, good Lord. Seriously. So yeah, why would you put Loctite on there? For a temporary bracket. I just don't get it. And now there's another one behind that one, which is seriously? Did I just do that? Now I have more room. What are the odds? You can take out some more of this packing. Ooh, we got some more filament. This is the white. And this is going to be the black. So we've got that. Another piece of foam. Another that build plate looks squeaky clean and nice. So let's get these other two out. Again, Creality, why? Why do you have Loctite on these? Blue Loctite, nonetheless. Well, last one here for this bracket. Good Lord. Thought I'm gonna have to get the Why? Why would you put Loctite on those? I don't get it. And I've got so much crap in the office. So that is pretty nice. So we got a couple other things. We have some rods in here that we can take a look at. As a matter of fact, I'll just bring you in close and show you what we got. So don't freak out, it's going to move around. Ooh. And so here's what we have. So there is that. We got our poop chute, little scrubber. We've got these brackets need to come out. And there is the fan. We have 4 screws that we need to take off. And look at that build plate. Look at that. That squeaky clean and nice. And we should have a camera up here. Yep. Got the camera right up there. So we'll take the lens off of that. And we should take this off. So we got a couple of things here. So we have carbon filter, and then we have the heat. So there's our activated charcoal filter. If we can get it up. Seriously. There we go. So we got the activated charcoal filter thing that we've got there. So we got a couple of those, and it also has a fan on each side. So you've got some little stuff going on there. And then the middle one is for the heating, poop chute, cable chain, as we got there. And then there's supposedly another camera that's right up there. So, yeah, not bad. Yeah. Need to look at the top down. You can see, steady this. Not bad. Nice. Some decent sized stuff there. Alrighty, so we're going to put you back on. Bring it back over here. Tripping all over cables everywhere. So now we've got some other ones that we need to take off. Make sure we keep all of these, because if I end up moving, boy, that one wasn't even screwed in. too many threads on that. That is so odd. So you have these screws which don't have any Loctite, but then the brackets to hold the CFS in had Loctite. So I don't understand. And then we have some brackets here which just pop out. Yep. So we got a couple little brackets there. And we got somebody, I got many few days ago. It's awesome. Oh, cool. And then he says, I watched your video before clicking the order button. So you took a gamble too. Yeah, and that's one thing to be said, because I've seen a lot of reviews that talk about the K2 Plus, and that people ended up saying they loved it. And then there's other people that had videos up that were like, it's not working. A lot of problems with customer and technical support, trying to get repair parts for items that were dead on arrival. So I think it's better than what the older Creality machines were, but yeah, not too shabby. So we got these two out of the way, and we should close the door. And we got to check and see what the next thing is that we got to do. But so far, not bad. Not bad at all. So now it talks about, yeah, we got rid of, we got to take the camera cover off, which is that right there, which is just a little rubber cap. So we'll say that as well. And then, what's the next thing we got to do? According to the instructions, we got to install the screen, or at least the screen base. Oh, and for those that are wondering that this is glass, it is glass. So we've got that. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to pick up this thing right here, which is the screen base. And it's got the screws included. And on the picture it shows you where they go and how this all hooks up. Nice. Here's something interesting. So when we're talking about, if I can get this in a frame, a lot of times what you'll end up seeing is you'll have, you know, some hobby stuff with parts or instructions, and the pictures won't be as detailed as the part itself, so you might not know, you know, well, does this go like this or does it go like this? But we can actually see on here that we see that bottom notch here is represented by this bottom notch here. So they've actually done a good job. I like that. Alrighty, we got 4 screws. And now we gotta find. Now the question is, did they do smart on this? So can you use the same Allen key that we took out all those other screws? They were smart. Instead of using different sizes, hats off to Creality. I dig that. And we'll just do one of these just to start it. I guess I could bring you all in closer, couldn't I? Maybe we can do that. I'll drop you down to get a closer view of this. That way you can see what's going on here. So yeah, so we got some screws. We got 4 holes, 2 on this side and 2 on this side. And so we shall put a screw in here. And my advice is don't cinch it down all the way. I think the idea is to put your screws in and just let the threads catch, but don't secure it all the way, because if there's bad tolerances in this, you've got some play to move this around and get all your screws in there first, and then you tighten them down. After years and years of technical electronics work that I've done. And there's also going to be a ribbon cable that's going to come through that hole. I guess what you could have done, I could have pulled out the cable and brought it through. I think what we'll end up doing is put it through first, but I think it'll go through here. It should, because you have to have enough room to plug it in, so there's got to be some slack. That's what I'm assuming. So hopefully that's the case. Just a little tightening. Nothing crazy, and I think we're good there. So now, yeah, it talks about, yeah, it actually shows that you should be putting the ribbon cable through first. What are the odds? I'm going to take a gamble. I'm going to say that I'm going to be able to do this without doing that. That's going to be close. So yeah, the only difference is talking about put it through and then screw it on, but okay, install the screen, which here is our screen. And this is only a one-way clip, which is, wow. So we do have a little bit of slack, thank God. And that's press fit onto there. And then, if we take a look at this, you can see that right here, you have a little bit of a slot on this end. And so that'll marry up with these pieces here. And so you'll start on this side and it'll lock in. So just put that like that, and voila. Now we have our screen. Look at that. That's as far up as it goes, and as far down as it goes. Oh, nice. Nice, I like that. Let's see what else we got. Now it's time to put on the spool holder, which is going to be off to the side. Which side is that going to be on? So that is the question for that. So apologize for moving it around. And the spool holder goes on this side. So we shall move this a little bit. See what's going on. Our spool holder. And remember that They gave us our spool holder, and then they also gave the instructions showing exactly where that goes. The glare and the light. So, yeah. Not too bad. And it has the Allen key included inside this bag. So I appreciate that. And it's only 2 screws. It looks like it's a 1 kilo, only a 1 kilo bar. It's not rollers, that's for sure. So, and I'm not going to get too deep into this. I'm not going to bring you around here because it's only got 2 screws, and if you follow the pictures, you should be good to go. Now the question is, do these screws fit? They're not fitting. Interesting. Why are these not fitting? Interesting. Let's rotate this around. Oh, okay, I see. There's a reason they weren't going in there. Because they have screws inside the hole. So, yeah, they've got a screw that's in the hole that you got to take this screw out to put this screw in for the bracket holder. Huh, interesting. It looks like they're different thread pitches too. One's coarse and one is thin. So why would that be? So look at that. How one, this is the one that was in the hole, this is the one that was included in the packet. And notice the coarse thread on this versus the fine thread on this. That is odd. That's different. So now the question is, will these go in? And no, they don't. They totally don't fit. So these screws, the included screws in the pack, don't go into it, but the black screws that you had to pull out do. Good. I was wondering why that seemed odd. And there is our spool holder. That's the only way it goes on, so yeah, we're good to go. Just tighten this up a little bit. Not too tight. Then we have those screws. Odd. So there's our spool holder. So now, let's check and see. So we did our spool holder thing. Remove the 2 reserved fixing screws. Take out the external rack and lock it with the 2 screws. So basically what ends up happening, let me make this bigger so you can see, but these 2 black screws that were actually included, it was already screwed into the K2 itself. Those are the screws that go in. So the 2 included screws that were in the packet, I have no idea why that was there. So now we have the CFS. Okay. So it's got some color coordination there, red and blue, PTF tubes, all of that. So we're going to do that next. So, let's see if we can get this, back this up just a wee bit. Earthquake! And so we can get some. I'm going to hate it when I have to move, that's for sure. I will hate it when I move. So now the CFS is going to be on the top. So to do the CFS, we're going to rotate this around. Being careful. This going. Not bad, not bad. This will be my first FDM printer, but it's not the first FDM printer that I've messed with. So for those of you who don't know, I spent some time in the Colorado Department of Corrections, and now we're going to need to put the, and there they had some stuff going on with, I actually worked in the prison, I wasn't a prisoner, just part-time. We'll put the top on here, but in the Colorado Department of Corrections, they have a lot of inmate training and trades programs, and one of those ended up being 3D printing. And actually what it was, oh yeah, that's glass. What that ended up being was a business used inmate labor and 3D printers to make medical casts. So nice. And so the business paid for the 3D printers, they paid for the inmates and some of the staff to learn how to do the 3D printing. Since I was electronics, I got involved in that a little bit. And so that was my first foray into 3D printing. And not so much, I did a little bit of orientation and figuring out and doing 3D printing, but really I was there more for the running of the electronics lines, the Cat5 cables, the computer lines, did their whole office and stuff like that. So that was mainly what I did, but I did get to play with some of the stuff, and that was kind of fun. This is the CFS. So it's about 4.56 kilos, about 10 pounds. And we've got a number of connectors, You got a for PTF E2 there. There we have the two connectors that will connect up to the K2 Plus, and it's got a little thing in there, so we're not going to open it up. And then the cool thing about this is you have access to the PTF E-tubes for easy access in case you get any jams and things like that, or you have to replace these. A lot of people were talking about how on the Bamboo, the multi-material system that they had, if you got clogs or anything like that, it was a pain in the butt. So this is a welcome change to that. I should have left that. Actually, I think that goes the other way. Yes, it does. And it does have rubber gaskets on here that this glass panel sets on, which is nice. And that's square, so that's good. Nice, so we will set this on top of there. And we'll try to get it, I guess we just put it in the middle. Like so, that should be good enough. And of course, once this gets all up and running, the other thing that we're going to end up doing is, of course, it's going to run through the calibration, go through the input shaping and all of that, and the vibrations of the machine and the table that it's sitting on. But this is going to get moved to the hobby room, so I'll have to redo all the calibrations. I'm still going to use the same table. I'm seriously thinking about getting a sturdier platform to put this on, because this has got a little bit of movement, but I think if I put the table up against a wall in the corner, that will minimize some of that movement. So yeah, I've seen people like Nathan Builds Robots, that his table that just shaking all over the place. Even Uncle Jesse, the table that he uses is on casters, and he does great prints. So I think I'm okay with that. So with that, let's take a look. And the first thing it shows is we got to install the buffer, which is this thing here, which goes like so. Spring action. You've got connectors. They've got numbers on them that say 4, but where are some of these PTF tubes? The first one is going to go in this top left one, but we need to screw that on there. So we will need to here it is. Well, that's PTF tube. That's PTF tube. That's short. Cable. That. And that's another cable, and that's another that. So we need a couple of screws. I wonder if it has screws. Nope. I wonder if those 2 screws that came out of the spool holder are meant to go in there. Let's take a look. And we shall see. So remember we did the spool holder on here, and it had these 2 screws that didn't go in there because these screws, are these the ones? Yep. Go figure. What we can end up seeing is there's a small circuit board in there, and you get your 4 to 1. And then your output. So just drop these in there like that. Ended up having some technical difficulties. So, but anyway, I wanted to show you how it ends up that it looks like that the top one has a sleeve. You see there, but the bottom one doesn't. So yeah, that bottom one there doesn't have the threaded sleeve. Seriously. No wonder that was just not catching. Will that even? I don't want to fit force it. Yeah, is it? Yeah, there's nothing there to grab. So they missed a spot here. So we only have the top one. Oh, Creality. Where should we put this? So I guess we're just gonna have to do with one for now, and I'll have to get like a self tapper and add that in there. Okay, that's how we're gonna do it. You know, or you know, maybe what I could end up doing is some 3M tape, and I could put that on here as well. So on the back of this and attach it on there. I've got some, but I'll just do this for now. I think that'll work. Yeah, I think we're almost there. So now we did that. And let's see, do we get any questions? No questions so far. So we have CF to the buffer. Wait a second now. So we got a couple of different pictures here. So you can see we've got, we got to put on that there, and it shows the piece that we just put on. But then we have the CFS up top, and then we have 2 screw holes up there. And then over here, that is actually up here on the CFS. So we've got 2 screw holes here. So we've got pictures showing that this should be here, and then we got pictures that it should be here. Interesting. So I think they need to update their stuff. Okay, so interesting. So I guess we could put it. I think we're just going to go with the picture that shows it like that. And get the glare off of there. We're going to go with the picture it runs like that. Because as we go through, that's a picture of the CFS with that piece up on the CFS. And see how it ends up. It shows it going from there to there. And then we got a different picture. Long Creality. Thank God for pictures. So, install the buffer. So we installed the buffer, and we have a long buffer. This is for the spool holder, so we'll put that over there. We have a long buffer and a short buffer. We might get a little bit of clues on here because now, see that, we got some pictures. So the short one goes from here up to where it connects on the K2 at the bottom. And then this one here is the long one that goes from the bracket that we just put in to there. Okay. So let's do the long tube and we'll follow the pictures. Something satisfying about this. So we will, and this goes to the CFS, which that's a little press fit. So you got to press and stick that in there. Which we've done that. And this one goes to the top left. Like so. Okay. And then this one ends up going from the little bracket that we got on there on C, which is a single connector, and this will run up to the connector on the K2. And if you're using the external spool, then you would hook up the piece that goes for the spool adapter for the spool holder, and that would go from here to here. So be sure to hang on to that. But for now, we're going to make sure that this goes in there. And then this one goes in there. And we're good to go. Definitely think we need some 3M tape. And now the next thing to do is to start doing the cable connectors, the 485 cable connectors that we got there. And again, we've got some packages. Here we can see that we got the one that goes from the CFS to the top connector, and then we have this longer one that goes from the CFS down to the bottom, which is down on the bottom down there. So I think we'll end up doing, we'll do this one first, the short one. You're going to go to the connection on the left, so work from left to right, and then this will go to the top. Do not hot swap. So it's got some little stickers on there. As you can see, it says do not hot swap. So, and this connector goes here. It's got the L bracket. And that just press fits there. And then this one, and this one goes into the top left. And it's got a little tab on there, which I guess I'll show you on the other one. It's a little connector. And a positive click, and so we're good to go. And then I'll do the other one, which will go from here down to this connector here. And what I'm talking about is on the connector. It's almost like a Cat5 connector. So on Cat5 connectors or cable for your computer lines and stuff like that, you've got this little part that goes up and down, so it'll lock into the connector, the female connector part, and so it won't come out. These are both straight connectors, so it doesn't say that there's any difference. And so we're going to trust them on that. And just to make sure, one connector says V and one says K. But it doesn't say anything on here. Two-wire connector, straight pin in the CFS, the sockets, okay. Plug one end into one and then one end to the other. It doesn't say that there's any difference between these. But if you take a look at that, you can actually see that there's a V and a K, but it says that there is no difference. So I'm going to put the K into the K2 Plus, and we'll see how that goes. And then we'll run this one up here into the MMS version of the filament system, which is their CFS. That was my attempt at humor. And I think we'll do that, so that way nothing is in the way of the poop chute. And now it talks about taking the desiccant packs, opening up the CFS, and opening up the desiccant packs. So with that, it's got a couple of sliding locks. Yep. And now it pops up. Does it stay? Stays. And then we have rubber air blower. So if you want to get blown, there you go. All about the pleasure. And so we'll end up doing, I guess, hey, let's go ahead and we'll throw up the top-down view. So that way you can see, hey, imagine that. What are the odds? And first thing we end up seeing here is, we kind of angled that up. We've got a sticker. It says no TPU, no PVA, no BVOH, and it's got a couple of spools. Big spool, weird spool, I don't know. We're just going to stick with some Creality spools. And we have our PTFE tubes, our little connectors on here. And then there's no rollers or anything. But up on the top here, you've got like a system where, let me see if can I move that a little bit? So these things here, those are spring loaded. So when your spool is sitting on here, this is going to kind of marry up with the edges of the spool, and that'll keep your filament from flipping over and getting tangled. So that's kind of nice. And there is that sticker there that we're talking about. But right now, we're going to end up doing, Lord. I'm just going to put you back up. Come on, go in the hole. Seriously? The joys of live streaming. It is fun. And there we go. Good Lord. All of that. So now we have these here, which we're having a little bit of problem of prying those. Okay. And then we end up having our desiccant packs. Yeah, those are small. I mean, it's better than nothing, but And I've already seen some mods of where some people have taken and they've scanned all this, so they make a box in here so that you could actually put more desiccant in here. So that's kind of a cool thing, because you definitely have more room. You could put more desiccant in there. But it's nice that they added a little bit. The thing I'm really was wishing is that this CFS, that this system here, would have a heater in it. In other words, it would be a drying box. And I don't know why you couldn't do that. I mean, obviously you can, but I think Creality had a great opportunity to put in a filament dryer in this. Even if you just kind of raise this up, you'd have to protect some of, you know, the minute amount of power circuit boards that you have in this thing. But you got some roller bearings, which is nice. But I think if they made this with with a dryer box on here, because you already have the display that shows the humidity and all of that stuff and temperature, why not throw in a dryer box? I don't know. Okay, so now that we got that, and this isn't spring load. Well, oh wow. So a little bit, but you get here, and it's going to fall. And we also notice that this edge around the cover here sticks out, and we have a recess that comes along this side here. You can really see it there, and there's a rubber gasket in there. So we're getting some good sealing in here to help keep humidity out with the little bit of desiccant that you have. And then with that, we have these snaps to keep it closed. So it's a nice enclosed system. That is not bad. So I'm digging it. I'm digging it. But now the next thing, I think we're going to put in the power cord and plug it in and see what happens. So that means I got to rotate this thing around again. Of course, we just put it on. This is a beast. That is for sure. And the feet have rubber on them. So we got that. Not too bad. So I think that's the next step. Is going to be powering this baby up, if I'm not wrong. Yep. So what we got next is plugging it in and turning it on. So we're going to need a power cord for that, and then the usual. I have to crawl under the desk and plug this in. So satisfying. And I got basically a 1 meter cord. Seriously? But it's a normal computer plug cord, power cord, and it's on the opposite end. Seriously. So is this going to reach my plug over there? No, it is not. And it won't reach over here. That is going to be the first thing I'm going to buy. So I think I have a 220. I think I got a 220 power strip. So let me see if I got one of those. So hang on. still looking. I don't know if I have one. Seriously. Let me check my hobby room. And the answer is no. Seriously, really. So how are we going to solve this conundrum? I think what we can do, we'll move you all back here and get this situated again. And I think what I'm going to have to do is now, because the plug is under there, so if I rotate this here, and then I can plug that in, do the crawl under the table bit, and then film from over here. I think that could work. You don't see Uncle Jesse doing this. If you have, let me know. But I guess that's why he's Uncle Jesse. So, then again, I don't have a dedicated studio. I have a spare room. So, I think the good thing with this is I can move the table easier. I should have done this in the beginning. Now I gotta crawl. Now I gotta crawl under two tables to plug this in. As if crawling through one table was bad enough. And this should be interesting. So we'll see how this goes. Let's update on Rick says, I'm having a panic attack over that tiny folding table. I've seen legs unlock and fold. Yeah, yeah, it's a thing. If only it were a 3-foot cord. Yeah, I mean, go figure. He'll leave the crawling to you. You leave the door shattering to him. So talking about Uncle Jesse. I guess I'll do crawling. He will be door smashing guy. So, here we go. Going down. Okay, yeah, power. Turn that off. So we'll leave that off, and now, hold on, it's gonna get shaky. Da 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 da. Thank God for tripods. Take a look and see what we can end up doing here with the CFS system and all of this loveliness. And will I be able to open the door? Yes. And it's magnetic, in case anybody's wondering. Now it says talks about turning it on. So that's what we're going to end up doing. Is we will turn this thing on. And the power's in the back left. Which, why can't you put power on the front? Alrighty, here we go. We got some lights up here. We got that up there. We have no smoke, so that's good. Maybe we could move this around and do something different with this. I don't know. Not that that's really going to make any difference. Okay, powering up. Everything's connected. And eventually this will come up with a screen that says select your language and the blase stuff. So, aha, so there we have it. So we have, it says start with English. We're going to click next on that. Remove 4 screws A, B, C, D, which we ended up doing. And if in case you're wondering, those are the screws. You have 2 on this side and 2 on this side, and they're indicated by these arrows, yellow arrows. So we've done that. Hit next. Welcome to Creality 3D printer. Keep the green cube in the diagram clear of debris. Yep, we did that. 350 by 350. Yes, we're all going to agree to this because nobody ever reads those things. Please set up your password. And we're going to go do that. So we're just going to kind of point you up a little bit as I do my password stuff. Now if I can remember my password. Good Lord. What was that password? I know I got it on here somewhere. Okay, let's see. Yep, you can't see my password. Okay, that's good. And connection failed. Seriously. I'll try that one. So hold on, 972. Of course, I'm just giving you random numbers. They're not the actual password. And we're connected. Alrighty. So we'll bring it back down here. And we end up seeing here is now it's asking for time zone, which I don't even know what time zone I'm in. What time zone is Korea? Hey Siri, what time zone is Korea? UTC +9. Thank you. So there we go. So we got that. Bind to the Creality cloud. Bind your device to the cloud. So we'll kind of do this because I don't know if that's going to be a thing. And we'll change that to actually, let's see, international. Yep. Alrighty. So I don't know if that did anything. So go back down here. We have self-check process. And please place the printing platform. Self-checked is about 16 minutes. Do not touch the printer during the self-check. Okay. So we won't touch it. We'll see what it ends up doing. I think with that, what it might end up doing is maybe I can move this other camera around. We'll see how this goes. So, since that's not the top-down view anymore, we'll get rid of that. But it's running through all this stuff. Did nozzle heating, hotbed heating, heat brake fan, model fan, and then it's going to do the input shaping. But when it's moving, you can see it's moving. It's banging against the side. Thud, thud. Figuring out where it is. And the input shaping running through. Kind of lower you all down here. Maybe you can end up getting a little bit of a yeah, the table moves a little bit, doesn't it? Okay, now it's doing the bed. Nice. Look at that. The wonderment. Slowly raising up. Now it says it's going to be doing the input shaping. Of course, it's not printing anything because we don't have any filament in there. Which makes me wonder, when do we put in filament? Self-check is complete. Oh yeah, and then after you do your testing with the input shaping, then you add the filament. And the good thing is we got filament and the CFS. So I think what we're going to end up doing is I'm going to step through here. I'm going to close that window because I'm no longer sweating. So it says that this is supposed to take about 15-16 minutes, at least based off of other reviews and stuff like that. So let's see, what else? Let's go over some comment. Greetings, Steve. Congratulations on unboxing and setting up. Thank you. Professional device. Professionalism is evident in your actions. I'm impressed by your knowledge and I'm learning a great deal. Well, you're welcome. Thank you. Appreciate the compliment. Always seems when I get into stuff, I kind of dive deep into it to become knowledgeable, and kind of like with pretty much anything else I do, I get too deep into it, at least according to my wife. So yeah, this is going to be fun. So you can hear all this. So running through. Take a little bit of time to clean up the toolbox here. One in the toolbox, kind of go over the toolbox stuff. This one. There's my other one. Set the other one down somewhere. But not bad. Oh, I think they included a USB drive, I think. Yeah, USB. Making all kinds of noise. So, as that's running and making weird noises, one of the things I was concerned about with the K2 Plus was the reviews, because there were a number of reviews that, here's the one, a number of reviews on the K2 Plus that ended up having problems, and so that was kind of like, and I remember what they did with the K1 and the K1 series, and how they did a little bit of false advertising. You know, they advertised an all-metal extruder, and the problem with that is when they sent it to reviewers, the reviewers took apart, you know, the extruder and the head and all that stuff, and found out that it wasn't all metal, and so they claimed all-metal extruder, 10,000 clog-free print hours, and then they found out it wasn't all metal. So where did you get the 10,000 hours from? And that claim. So there's, I'm really hesitant. You know, when a company does something like that, I was like, yeah, that's not a good thing at all. when you're advertising and you get caught in something like that. So that put a bad taste in my mouth, and then the lack of customer support that Creality had for that machine. So, and it got better over time, but I was still kind of, once bitten, twice shy type of thing. So, we did that, and so I was kind of bouncing between doing the K2 Plus or doing the Prusa XL. But after looking at a number of reviews and chatting with people who had the XL, even just a single head, I wasn't going to get multi-heads. Really, for $2,500, it just didn't seem like a good investment. You know, maybe if I was business, doing side gigs, and I needed something like that, then yeah, I would spend $2,500. So, and then there's the, wow. Kind of moving along there, ain't it? doing all kinds of cool stuff. So input shaping is done, and now we're on auto leveling. So anyway, back to what I was talking about. I really, looked at some other bigger or other large build area printers, and getting a combo system like this, a lot of good bells and whistles, a little lacking maybe on the tech support side and aftermarket sales, but I decided to roll the dice, and we'll see how that goes. So that was kind of the thing behind that. I did have people ask me, I did have people asking me why I didn't go for like the Prusa Core 1. The Core 1 looks like a great system. Then you also have the Elegoo Centauri Carbon, which is a ridiculously low price. And that looks like a great machine. Those two machines look really, really good. And the price point for the Centauri is insanely low. And for what it offers, that's just kind of crazy. So, thinking about that, but then I really wanted to have the bigger build area. Maybe I'll do some cosplay stuff. I'm thinking about things that I could do in the future. And yeah, there's guys that like Frankly Built and other people, Uncle Jesse and lots of other, guys and gals that have done cosplay armor with the Bamboo X1C, or similar sized build areas, 256 cube. And, they split up their parts, they print it out, they weld them or glue them or whatever they end up doing, and they can make huge suits of armor. Yeah, I could do that, but the larger build area was something I really wanted to get, because if I could do small items and larger items and do helmets all in one go, I think that would be a thing. So that was kind of the reasoning behind it. And yeah, definitely took a gamble on the K2 Plus, because I've seen a lot of reviews of how it's having problems, and if you go online, you'll see even more problems. But then there's a lot of people that were totally satisfied, and we got a lot of people on YouTube that are totally satisfied with the K2 Plus. Even Uncle Jesse said when the machine works, it's awesome, but he's waiting for parts for 2 weeks, a month, or whatever it is. So that's kind of, and he's Uncle Jesse. I'm a nobody. So, what about us nobodies? What type of support are we going to get? So yeah, it was kind of like throwing the dice to see if this thing will work, and we still don't know if it works. It's going through the self-check, so, that's a bonus there. But as far as other stuff, yeah, I decided to take the gamble, do the 1500, which is amazing because the price that I got this for was 1500 when you do the exchange rate. We had a high exchange rate here in Korea, so the dollar to won to dollar, whatever you do that, it was $1,500. So the price for this in the United States is $14.99, and I got free shipping. So other companies in Korea who have these and ship these out, you'll pay 200,000 or 300,000 more in won, not dollars, but 200,000 or 300,000 more. Maybe $200, $300, $400 more. It can even get higher because they're going to make, they want their slice of the pie. But so yeah, it ended up, and this company is really good. They have real good support for the products that they sell for printers, and yeah, I found that on Naver, which is a Korean thing website. So we got that going on. Let's see, what else do we got? Let's take a look at some. Rick says it's going to calibrate for 12 minutes. Then it will update the firmware. Since it's brand new firmware, it's going to need to recalibrate again. What are the odds? You think it would do, and again, this is, Rick, I totally agree with you, and you probably totally agree with this. Once it hooks up, it should look for firmware first and then do the calibration. Instead of doing calibration, all the self-checks, and then check for firmware, and then update it and run through all this stuff again. So Creality, if you're watching, yeah, right. Fix that. Let's see. The input shaping might shape the table. And I'm surprised this table's doing pretty decent. But when I move this into the hobby room, I'm definitely going to get a nice table, a really sturdy table for this. I might even have somebody build something because I want something that's really, really solid and I don't want any movement. Let's see, what else we got? Dun, dun, dun. Rick says, I love my K2 Plus, but I still pre-ordered the Elegoo Carbon because you can't beat that price. Yeah, that, and you know, with the allowance I get, I could pick up one of those too. So, now the wife might not understand. She's like, well, you already have one. And if you're married, you know what I'm talking about, unless you have a different type of wife. But yeah, I think I'm going to be sticking with this for a while. But yeah, the carbon price, oh, seriously. And I almost did that. The reason I didn't is because here in Korea, they don't have it. And I even got with Elegoo and I said, hey, can you ship to Korea? And they're like, yeah, we can't do that right now. Because apparently items, you have to establish something, you have to get some type of certification and approval to do that. You just can't willy-nilly ship stuff here in Korea or whatever. I guess it's a thing when you live overseas. So, let's see. He says, Steve, could you please provide me with the total cost of your printing device, including any accessories? It's a little bit different because I got it on sale, and basically I talked about it was about $1,500 when you do the conversion. And then the conversion rate for dollars to won varies day to day, hour by hour sometimes. But it came out to like 15, if I remember correctly, just for the K2 Plus combo. It was like $15.23 at the time that I exchanged the money and put it from dollars to won. So, which is comparable to the price of what you would get in the United States for it. And if you do some searching, you can also find some discount codes. I know if I signed up with Creality, I've been getting some discount codes that say, hey, are you ready to order? Here's a 10% off or whatever. So you might check into that. So sign up for their newsletters and stuff like that, and they might throw you a code. Oh, and that brings to mind, when I got online with Creality, go onto the Creality website, hit their little chat thing, and it has some options, some automated things. Well, what do you want after tech support, this or that? Do you want a discount? They're throwing discount codes out there. So, it might be like 5 or 10%, but it's 5 or 10%. So check into that as well. Unfortunately, because I bought mine through a third-party seller, I wasn't able to get that discount. So you could probably get a better price than me on this. Let's see, what else? Going back to the printer, and the Centauri Carbon, Rick says, would make a good printer for me to set up for the kids as a backup when I have several things printing at once. You have kids. You have an excuse. My kid is gone. So, if I could borrow your kids, maybe I could make that safely. Okay, well, we're done. So, let's take a look-see on what we got. I'll zoom in here a little bit. So self-check is complete. And sure enough, what do we end up seeing? Bring this in a little bit here. We will get the skinny, because what does it say? Yes, new firmware upgrade. So of course, we're going to be doing that. Current version is 1.1.0.68. The latest is 1126. Leveling data already exists. Z motor unlocked. Blah blah blah. Optimized multicolor. Extruder jam detection optimized. Belt tensioning Direction recovery after power loss, that's good. Default to disabling CFS startup. Add maintenance reminder feature, so that's kind of a good thing. Optimize video connection through the Creality app, flow rate calibration, improved accuracy. Fix the issue of print pause and canceling failures caused by beyond out of range, or whatever that is. Add a constant temperature phase. Heated bed temperature exceeds 60 to improve leveling of high temp filaments. Optimize that, okay. Fix issues to improve user experience. Okay, yeah, we're going to download. So yeah, we got that going on. So, I thought I was going to need power tools. I charged up the battery. I was like, yeah, let's get into this. No, we didn't need it. Which is good. So that's what we got going on. Kind of some interesting stuff. I wonder if I can see myself live on YouTube. I wonder. This will be interesting. Let me look up the Buried Live. And we are live. At least it says we're live. And we're actually on. So we're doing the live thing. So yeah, we're live. So that's kind of cool. Neat. We're not going to jinx it. So what do we got? It's installing. Nothing's smoking, so that's a bonus there. And according to our instructions, the next thing is going to be loading up the filament. And we had power loss, the bed went down, it's going back, powering back up to restart the firmware. That'll give us time to read a little bit on the filament, external spool, and the CFS. CFS code such as filaments, blah, 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 load filaments. Put the filament into the CFS, align the filament head with the Teflon tube in the corresponding slot, gently push it down, release your hand when it feels the pulling force, and the filament will be loaded automatically. I like automatic. Unload filaments, ensure all the filaments are not in the extruder, directly pick up the filaments and pull them out. If inside the extruder, you can first click the retreat filaments and wait for the filaments to return to the CFS. Okay. Then after that, we can print. So, excited about that. So, I'm glad there's no smoke and fire. So we got that going. That's good. And we got the firmware upgrade. So now it's got to restart. That's going to take a few minutes to run through this whole thing. So I think what I might do it's going to take about 15 minutes, so I guess I could sit down at the desk. I just need to move around a little bit. And what we could end up doing, don't freak out, going to move around a little bit. A little bit of cable. Come over here, sweetie. We got that. Kind of do that so we get a shot of that. And we'll take this camera. And we will move this around over here. And we'll put y'all back at the desk. Seriously, really? There we go. So I can sit down. There we go. And we'll move this down here. And that way we can watch from the comfort of our desk. Let's see if we can make this. We'll do that. Yeah, so that's what we got going on. I mean, it's this is good. This is good. So George ends up saying, "I'm on my second cigar. You are the man." I don't do cigars, but I do beverage from time to time, and so that's going to be the plan, is to do some beverage as I make videos, and we'll see how it goes. Rick's suggestion, it's going to be a few minutes. Sing us a song or something to kill the time. Striptease, maybe? No? Definitely not that. You don't want that. How about some stories? Some stories. And let me fix some stuff here a little bit. We'll kind of zoom in a little bit. There we go. And then we can sit back and relax a little bit. And we'll let the thing do what it's supposed to do. And it's got something on there. What does it say? It says, after the upgrade, please recalibrate before starting the printing task. Okay. And calibration. I think we'll just redo everything. So we'll run through that whole thing again. I'm not too concerned about waiting another 15 minutes. And actually, there are some people that I read online that were having problems with their K2. And I guess I should move the mic. Wow, that's loud. But there were some people having some problems with their K2 Plus. And what ended up happening was they didn't calibrate it. So they calibrated it, they did the firmware upgrade, and they didn't do the full calibration, and they ended up having problems. And then somebody recommended, said, hey, well, redo everything, bed leveling, the whole kit and caboodle after the firmware upgrade. And that solved the problems of whatever these people ended up having. So let's see. Rick is asking, what software streaming stuff am I using? This is Ecamm Live. And I got it way back in the day. Okay. Ecamm Live, I got it way back in the day when you could purchase the program and actually own it. Now, unfortunately, Ecamm Live ends up, it's a subscription service. But the cool thing is, I hate subscription services. But with the Ecamm Live, what I do like about it is you can do picture-in-picture, you could do text, you could do, let's see, what else? You can have different cameras on here. You can select different microphones. You can do different overlays with pictures or videos. You can do text overlays, animated overlays, dynamic text, countdown overlay, camera overlay, shape overlay, widget overlay, camera share. You can record. So in other words, I could record this while I'm doing the live stream. Or I could just record and then I can edit it later, or I could do both. So that's kind of cool. And yeah, so it's a good software. I like it. Even better that I bought it when it was still a thing you could buy, minus the subscription service. So yeah, it works pretty good. The only problem I have, like, I don't know if you see it, but I'm getting a little bit on this camera. I'm getting a little bit of a flash every once in a while because I'm dealing with a couple of cameras. I got that camera, and then I've got this one, and so this is the first time I've done that. Rick ends up asking, have you tried OBS Studio? No. No, actually I did, but that was like eons ago. So yeah, it was a lot more complicated. I guess not as user friendly as it is today. Maybe, I'm guessing. But yeah, the Ecamm Live, I really like it, and it works well for me. But the OBS, I might have to look into that as well. So cool little toolbox, not bad. What else do we got going on? Some people asked me about what happened to my channel. And what happened was, because before, when I first started YouTube, I was like, I had retired out of the military and YouTube was a thing. And I decided, you know what, well, I'll do some prepper stuff. I'll do some guns and I'll do some shooting. I'll do, you know, because I love shooting and blowing up stuff. And then what ended up happening was I got more into gun and gear reviews, and then my channel got pretty big. And it worked out to where then there was a school shooting, and actually I was on a TV show called Armageddon Arsenals, and me and my family were featured on that show, and they featured our family and then some other people and stuff, and so they did a TV show. So that was really cool. And then I started getting more offers. And then they had a school shooting, and then suddenly guns were evil, and I kind of paid the price for that. Long story short, people started flagging my videos. YouTube flagged the videos of the smaller gun channels. And so then they started striking my videos, even though I was doing some of the same stuff as like big gun channels. I guess I wasn't bringing enough advertising revenue. And then I was getting false copyright claims from a bunch of anti-gun people. And if you don't like guns, that's cool. I'm totally fine with that. So then it ended up, YouTube said, hey, you got to take down your channel. You got to take down the videos, which a bunch of them had already been taken down by YouTube. And then it ended up, they gave me the ultimatum that if I don't take down the videos, they're going to shut down my channel. Yeah, so that happened, and I got pretty pissed off, and yeah, it was a whole mess. So I rebranded the channel. It used to be Safe Arms Review, and then it was SAR, because I thought, well, if I change the name, maybe, you know, that'll, you know, some people will leave me alone because it'll be a different channel name. But that didn't work, and eventually it got to the place of where yeah, I had to get rid of the videos, and I had emergency surgery because I was almost dying, and then I had a flare-up of all my military disabilities and stuff, and so it was this perfect storm of crap, this shit storm that happened, and it ends up, it was just horrible. And then, of course, I took down the videos, rebranded, and I started doing like drone stuff. So if you look at my earlier stuff, with the new channel, The Buried Life, I had flying drones and stuff like that. And then I went to Hawaii for a year, and then we had sold everything. And then we ended up we moved to Korea. And so now this is what you get. Let's see, what do we got? Kyle ends up saying, talking about the OBS is industry standard for streamers at this point. Okay. Kyle, I'll look into OBS streaming and we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll dip my hand into that. As if I don't have enough to do between resin printing, laser engraving, now FDM printing, and this. But yeah, it's been an interesting journey, and retiring in Korea, being an American expat. And George asked the question, how's the gun culture in Korea? It is really different than the United States. I had a bunch of guns and a bunch of ammo. I think when I sold everything, I think I had over 60,000 rounds of different types of ammunition. I had tons of guns. So if I ever got in trouble and they raided my house, yeah, when you see people getting raided in the United States, oh, he had 10 guns and he had, you know, a few thousand rounds of ammunition. Oh, no. Oh, good Lord. Yeah, could you imagine if they caught me doing something wrong? with 60,000 rounds of ammunition, 3 or 4 years worth of food, and enough guns to, you know, field a fire team. But I would go out to the range. I'd shoot, run. I would, you know, get in the dirt, shoot in it and out and around vehicles, the whole 9 yards. No problems whatsoever in the United States, in southern Colorado. But here in Korea, gun culture is very different. With my visa, I could get a gun, but it can only be used for sport or shooting. You know, sport or hunting. That's what I was trying to talk about. So I could either do it for sport shooting or hunting. But the thing is, I have to get special permission to buy a gun. I could only take it out and basically get permission to take it out for those two activities. And there's not a lot of those around here in Korea, like the United States. And they regulate how much ammunition you could buy. And like the amount of ammunition that you can only buy in a year is like what I would spend one day going to the range having fun. So, and then to top it off, you can't store your gun inside your house. So in other words, if I bought a gun, it has to get stored at a local police department. So if I'm going to go hunting or if I'm going to do sport shooting, I have to go to the police station that has my gun. I'd have to show them that, yes, I'm going here and I'm taking this much ammunition and this is what I'm doing and how long I'm going to be doing it, blah, blah, blah. It is a whole rigmarole of what you need to do the even shoot a gun here in Korea. And it is just really, really restrictive. And yeah, it's totally different, the gun culture. Now, some people are like, well, why don't you just go to a shooting range? Well, they have indoor shooting ranges. A lot of, no, I wouldn't say a lot, but they have indoor shooting ranges. But you can have, and I actually saw this, I was going to go until I saw how they control the guns. So they have a shooting range, you stand there, and then there's a steel cable, and it goes through the handguard of the gun, and you can shoot the gun, but you have to have somebody watching you. You have to load it a certain way and show them and then shoot. You can't draw and shoot. You can't do anything crazy, double taps and stuff like that, and kind of the more stuff that I love to do. You can't do that. You can't do that. And the whole thing is because it's just really restrictive with guns here. It is what it is. So yeah, it's just not something. I probably won't get a gun. And the other reason is because here in Korea, crime is so low. I've never felt unsafe here in Korea, either me or my wife. But then again, I'm 6'2" and 265 pounds. Keep the fingers crossed. All right, we got another comment here. Given the noise your printer device is making, I would like to inquire about your neighbor's response. As I understand, you reside in an apartment building. Is there air gapping? Yes, I do live in an apartment. We bought our apartment here in Korea, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, but it's not like apartments in the United States. Concrete floors, concrete, above us. They have the in-floor heating, so the floors are kind of extra thick. And as far as doing like resin printing, I haven't had any problems. Neighbors haven't complained or even talked about it. I've gone outside of my apartment in the foyer area where our elevator is at, the entrance, and I can't hear any of that going on. So that was another reason why I wanted to go for an enclosed printer system, because of the reduced sound levels. Which, thank you. How about we get, and we'll do a decibel meter. So we're running about 45 to 50. 56. So a few feet away. So that's not bad. And considering that my speaking voices were hitting the 70s, and maybe even peaking out at the 80, yeah, it's not a big concern. So yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Cool. So yeah, some cool stuff with that. So yeah, appreciate that. Let's see. George comes back and he says, an actual place on Earth more restrictive than communist New Jersey. Could be. I don't know. More restrictive is communist New Jersey. Yeah. But it's a whole different culture here. And basically what happened is after the Korean War, crime was kind of a big thing here in Korea. And so there was a lot of people that had problems with crime and firearms and so on and so forth. And the Korean government at the time ended up saying, hey, we got to stop this gun crime stuff. And so they became really restrictive on guns. And as a whole, the Korean people respect and do all that good stuff. So they kind of went along with it. And Korean people are more respective of laws and of each other and more polite. So that's why they have a lower crime rate. And the fact that there's CCTV cameras just about everywhere. So yeah, it's kind of a different culture. So going through the sound stuff again. So sound-wise, that's not bad. That is not bad at all. Rick ends up saying, printer and room, and my bedroom is one room apart, and I don't hear my printer when the door is shut. Cool. That's awesome. And that's another main reason. I had looked at FL Sun and their products like their T1 Pro and S1 Pro or whatever, because they kind of bailed on the original T1 and S1, which I think is BS. But that was a lot louder, and especially with the fan and all that stuff. And yeah, you could put a reducer on there and kind of minimize the fan sound. But it was just too loud. And so I'm kind of happy that this is, you could have it, I run my TV louder than this. So that's kind of a cool thing. I like that. And it's still running through. I don't have anything on the screen. And now it's quiet. All quiet on the Western Front. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, that's what we got going on. Some cool stuff going on. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. Looking forward to it. Kyle ends up saying, I think you'll love the K2. Same as other Creality machines. Their only real issue is bad QC, quality control for those people who don't know. My CFS, for example, had a crushed wire from the factory going through warranty now. Okay. Loco Laszlo says, I like it. I just purchased mine a couple days ago. Alrighty, cool. Awesome, congrats. I'm really looking forward to this, and we're all crossing the fingers hoping that this will be a good machine, and we don't end up like Uncle Jesse, who is going through some problems. But what I have found, talking about problems and warranties and stuff like that, is going on the Reddits and talking about Creality and how to contact them. There seems to be a lot of people that are getting better customer service through Creality's WhatsApp number than doing regular emails. So that might be something to consider. Now let's see what we got going on. Self-check complete. Okay. And it's all done. So it's going back to what we have here. And we're going to do the next part. So I'm going to have to move you all around here a little bit, so don't freak out. It's not an earthquake. And I think what we'll end up doing is we'll kind of move this up and around. And we will move this. The mic, we'll put that over there. Do I really want to move that camera again? I don't know. So I'm assuming, since all of this is done, you know what? I am going to move this camera. Because y'all looking at my belly. And so we'll put it back up here. So we're looking at this right here. And what we end up seeing is that it has auto leveling, and all of that has been done. So auto leveling, belt tension, cutter calibration, input shaping, all of that is done. And it says start detecting. So if I hit that, I'm assuming that's going to go through. So I'm making an assumption that I need to hit this home. Okay, I think we got that. And let's see, we got and we got a question, what type of return on investment do I anticipate with this machine? It's just going to be for hobby stuff right now, and my daughter, who is stationed close by, she's going to get some work out of it, so I'll get a little bit of something, but maybe I'll do side gigs. And so I'm kind of, that's part of what I want to end up doing. But as far as return on investment, it's more of a hobby thing. I spent the money, it's gone, so I'm not really gonna worry about that. When I did my laser engraving stuff, I did look at kind of the return on investment. I started doing a little bit of side gigs and stuff like that. So maybe, depending if there's a market for being a print service, then I'll look into that a little bit more. Okay. Rick says, yes, hit the home button. Yes, hit the home button. Glad I'm on the same page. So now is talking about load filaments. So what we'll end up doing, and I think we will end up and I'm assuming we'll do that. And from what the instructions say, so we load this stuff in here. So we'll see how this goes. Mainframe, I guess I am. And I'm going to do the red. And according to the thing, you just open it up. Just put it in there. Just put it in. I'm all for putting it in. And the question is, what does it smell like? There's a little duskin pack in there. Don't eat that. And So if those of you who don't know, it has the RFID on there and you can actually see that. So it's got one on each side. So it doesn't really matter how you put that in. But this is going to go like that. And since we have kinks, I'm assuming I got to cut that off. So that is what we will do. I can open up the toolbox. If I can get the pliers out, cutters out. Hey, I got a question. Rick, do I cut this flat or do I cut it at an angle? So, do I want to cut it like just like that, or do I want to cut it at an angle, or does it make a difference? Inquiring minds want to know. Or if anybody knows. Because on the end of this, it's cut kind of flat. So maybe I'll just cut it with a little bit. Either, doesn't matter. Okay. I'll put a tiny little angle on that. So it says to put this in here. And then I want to make sure flat is fine or an angle. Kyle ends up. Kyle says blah blah blah. Flat or angle doesn't matter. Oh, it cuts it on the other end. Okay. We'll just put a tiny angle on there. And then we'll feed that in there. I like it. Forwards, backwards. And I guess that's it. Okay, I guess we'll move on to the next one. Okay, nothing on that screen. So, I guess we're just going to throw in the next one. The first one is red. What color do you think this is going to be? Red. White. Interesting, interesting. Again, nice plastic spools we got going on here. Just do a tiny little angle on that. White. Look at that, automation at its finest. Red, white, blue, and black. That's right. Colorful blue. And that one's loaded up. Man, that is nice. I remember when I worked in the Colorado Department of Corrections and they had their 3D printers, you didn't have automatic loading and unloading and stuff like that. It was it was a painful process. Now we'll do the blue. And this is Hyper PLA in case anybody's wondering or you care. and everything's backwards when you're doing camera stuff. So set that one in there. Nice. The room is such a mess. Let's see. So that one's loaded in. Now we get the black. We'll do that. Put that one in there. Voila. If you see on the screen here, we got red, white, blue, and a question mark on the black. And now it's black. I don't know, did y'all see that? Let me show you in a close-up view. So there is the colors, so it's loaded up. Alrighty. Bonus. And so now the question is, what are we going to do next? So let's see. So now it talks about print. Click a file to print. So that is calibration, print settings, filament, all your different filaments there. You can even do, oh, it even has the side. Let me move you all closer so we can see what's actually going on here. So I guess we could close the top. So we got all the different things there, which is nice. Try to get the glare off of there. Axis and temp. So I'm not going to mess with that. And then we have our files. Okay. So we have the choice of the Creality logo, which is going to take, what was it, 32 minutes? This one is 34 minutes for the benchy, the colored benchy, and then 21-minute benchy. So I think what we'll end up doing, let's just run the regular benchy. Hit that, and it gives us an option of black, but if I'm assuming if I hit that or that, I want it in blue. Oh, cool. Okay, so it'll take 21 minutes, 11 grams of material. Enables CFS, which it does, calibration. I'm just going to leave that as it is. We'll run the calibration, even though we just calibrated it. Preparing to print. And I think what we can end up doing, we'll bring it down and we'll take a look at a closer view on how this is going. And scrubbing, I think it is. down. It's cleaning the head. And we'll see what happens. I'm assuming it's probing the bed. Did it poop anything? I see no poop. So it's going through, I'm assuming, the bed calibration. But is it just calibrating the area of which it's going to print? Because if that's what it's doing, that's cool. Which I'm kind of assuming, because otherwise you have your full bed, and I think it's like 25 different places for the calibration, and this is kind of just sticking to the bed area. So I'm making an assumption that this is just going to be calibrating the bed area of where it's going to print. Or not, I don't know. I don't want the camera getting in the way. Let's see what else we got. APD says, I was debating on getting one. I recently got an Elegoo Centauri Carbon. Love that thing. That's cool. Yeah, I was considering that too, but it ends up that that wasn't an option, at least here in Korea. Okay. And is it going to extrude anything? Guess we'll just let it do its thing. Let's see what else we got. Kyle comes up and says, I'm not sure if this is your first FDM printer. If so, then it's very important. Make sure that you are printing PLA and have the chamber fans at 100% at all time. Okay. Thank you for that. Like I said, I had a little experience, but not a lot. Not to the point where I would know that, that's for sure. Is it pooping out anything? Is it extruding? The CFS is running. It is going. So that's a good sign. And good Lord, it is. Stop. Let me stop. Oh, are we having fun? So this is going to be interesting because we had a bunch of filament come out the back. So there's a PTFE tube and the back came off. So I'm going to have to oh, fun, fun, fun. Let's see if we can get you. So you can see what happened is that it didn't go in the PTFE tube. So now I'm assuming, how do I retract that? Pause, try again, okay. So now, to try to find out what we got going on now, is it stopped. And let's see, if we go to filaments, can we retract that? And retract. And nothing is happening. Okay. So now it's retracting. Will it like retract all the way is the question. And now we gotta put this PTEF tube back in. Okay. So I think we got that in there again. So let's come back over here. We'll get back to the business at hand. And I think we got that. So that's still good. So that. Let's go back to our file. And I'm going to assume that we're good on this. So let's try the benchy again. We'll pick the blue again. And what we'll end up doing is we'll kind of put this here so we get like a full view of all this. And we'll hit print. Let's not do the calibration again because we already did calibration, I'm assuming. Let's just go ahead and hit print. Keep our fingers crossed. Okay. It's the tripod that's off. It's not the. We'll run through this again. Stop the print and tell the printer to retract that spool. Okay, we did that. So the fans are running. Fans are kicking, that's for sure. Those LED lights in there, they're all right, I guess. Could be brighter. It's not too bad. If you have the door open. I think if you have the door closed, it'd be nice to have some better lights. So that will probably be an upgrade I'll look into. Just personal. So the things that we had problems with so far is we had a sleeve, female sleeve for that little piece on the back of the K2 wasn't in there. So I'll have to get some 3M tape for that. I dropped 2 screws, so that's not bad. That's actually pretty impressive for me. That's only dropping 2 screws during the entire thing. And then we had just what we have now, which was the PTFE tube came off in the back. Well, we got it. We got it. It's running through. I see a blue speck on the plate. It's pooping. It is pooping. It is pooping. The machine poops. Now it's cleaning the poop. Let the poop go on the floor. Don't see any poop on the floor. Rick talks about, I put on the COB LED mod on Colts 3D. I'll definitely check into that. Pooping more, extruding, and pooping. Pooping. A lot of pooping. Baby's first poop. Definitely have to make a poop shoot as well. Oh, it's laying the line. Oh, look at that. There we're going. It is printing. See if we can scoot y'all up there. Yeah, that's pretty quick. Wow. I'm impressed. That is... Did we get poop? I don't see any poop on the floor. It looks like a nice first line, first layer. Kyle says, I recommend buying some higher quality PTFE tubes to have on hand. The one that connects to the print head sucks. Alrighty then. Which is interesting because it was either yesterday or the day before, I can't remember exactly when, that some other people recommended that as well. So they dropped a link for an Amazon for some PTFE tubing that was better than what they used on the CFS, so he recommended changing out the tubing on the CFS. And if you're going to do the CFS, you might as well do all the other stuff too, right? So yeah, thanks for that confirmation. Wow, look at that go. That is, let's see if we can, zoom that in a bit. Man, that table is rocking. Oh, you guys gotta see this. See the table, how that's rocking. Wow. Oh, I'm so getting a better table. That is crazy. And the input shaping is adjusting for that. That's the crazy thing there. That is wild. Look at that. That is just wild. Wow. It's just rocking. And it's printing so well. Wow. I'm impressed. Remember, I had a little bit of FDM experience, but that was back, it was 2025. Wow. So it was like 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, is when I messed with FDM printers a little bit in the prison system. They're a hell of a lot slower than this. I don't even remember the types of printers that they used, but it was a bed slinger. It wasn't Prusa, I know that. Wow, look at that go. That is crazy. Kind of ends up talking about wall thickness is too thin, and I found her to allow the tube to pop out of the print head and put a thicker walled one in, and haven't had an issue since. So talking about the PTFE tubes. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna change those out. Like I said, I ordered those on Amazon. It's just gonna take 2 weeks to get stuff from the United States here to Korea. Wow, that is cool. 23 Celsius, 30% humidity. What, that brings up a question. What humidity level is good for this Hyper PLA from Creality? What is a good, or just a general humidity for PLA? What humidity percentage are we looking at? Because the summer times in Korea can get wicked humid. And we've got dehumidifiers in our apartment. But just as a rule of thumb, what type of humidity should I be shooting for? So, yeah, put that in there too. Wow, that is really good. Look at that. So for humidity, it says for 30% or less. Alrighty. Right on the edge, living on the edge. Man, look at that. I am really, really impressed with this. This is good. When you guys watch this, I'm gonna bring my wife and bring her in. I don't know. I'll move it. They're not going to be in camera. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that wild? Is that cool or what? That's pretty cool. Need to get a better table. Yeah, it has a computer program, and it adjusts for the vibrations of the printer and the motors and all that stuff. When it goes slow or goes fast, and then it adjusts for the movement of the table as well. Isn't that crazy? Wow. Yeah.
That is cool. I knew you got started on it.
Yeah, don't touch the food.
No, I'm just holding it.
No, it takes that into account and it adjusts for it, so you don't have to hold it. That's wild. Just let it do its thing. Cool. Yeah, yeah. Wife said it was cool, so we're good to go. She says we need to get a better table. Look at that. Wow. Not too bad. That is not bad at all. Let's see. Rick says, waiting on a new filament dryer from Creality, 4-roll filament dryer, heading my way soon. Bonus. I ended up, I ordered the Creality 2-roll, so we're going to be giving that a shot. Because I figure I'm not going to be doing a lot, I say this now, I figure I'm not going to be doing a lot of multicolored printing. That might change. But my thinking was to get the 2 because I didn't want to get a 4. I didn't know they had a 4 coming out, but there were some other ones. But it was, again, it came down to expense. But yeah, that's cool. Because you figure if you got a CFS and it holds 4 rolls, you get a 4-roll filament dryer. Yeah, why not? That makes total sense. Kyle says you got the 2 EBOS ones, and they've been great. That said, the new Sumner ones look pretty awesome as well. I'll have to look into those. Rick says, I like the new 4-roll Creality filament dryer. It has dual zones, so you can dry TPU and the carbon fiber at the same time. Wow. That's impressive. And that table is rocking. I definitely need to get a new table. I'm amazed at how much movement that thing does. Even at the weight that it has, that has thrown out some movement. And fast. The thing that boggles my mind is that it goes up to 600 millimeters per second, but we're not even touching that. So, imagine you bump up some speeds. Of course, more speed might have an effect on quality. Eventually there's a diminishing return. But, man, look at that. I'm severely impressed. So definitely looking forward to the filament dryer. Let's see. So yeah, I might end up doing. I'm definitely going to do some hobby stuff, because it gives me something to do. My daughter's here. She's assigned to a local military base, and she's kind of geeking out on resin printing, and now she's going to geek out on this. So And then I think there was one person locally that was doing like print service. You give them a file and then print it out. And actually I contacted the person, gave them a file, said, hey, I want this printed out. And that's been almost a year, and they haven't got back with me, so I'm like, just like whatever. So there's an opportunity to do a little bit of side business, you know. I mean, not full time, but, you know, do some cool stuff. So I might be doing that. And then the other big purchase that I want to do is a laser engraver. So I'm looking at a laser engraver from One Laser, but that's going to be a big chunk of change, and they're trying to get the certification for it to be in Korea. But then you're looking at usually 18% VAT, value-added tax, and import fee on top of that. But now with the tariff war that we got going on with this administration and the other countries that have, you know, they charge us a lot and we don't charge them a lot. So the current administration, however you care about it, is trying to balance and level the playing field. Whether you agree with that or not, it doesn't really matter because it's printing, it's 3D printing. So I don't know if I'll get the One Laser, but there is the Raleigh Lasermatic is coming out with a new laser, which it's a diode laser, and it also has a galvo laser in one head. So, and I think that's more manageable for price, so I might be getting that. And so I'll be able to do resin printing, laser engraving, 3D printing, and if I do print service stuff, you know, give me something to do. I want to do some cosplay armor. I'd like to do one big cosplay armor based off of Warhammer 40K. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Cal says the 600 millimeter second thing is mostly marketing. Yep, I totally agree. Honestly, you should never need to print faster than it runs right out of the box. Yeah, it's all marketing. The most difficult thing with 3D printing side business is that people don't understand these machines make functional parts that are strong. Everyone thinks they're just for making toys. Yeah, and the amount of stuff that you can make with 3D printing is insane. And especially when you have carbon fiber. Don't freak out here, I'm going to move you around a little bit. I'm going to put you all back on the desk so I can sit down. There we go. So yeah, look at that thing go. That is crazy. So move the mic back over here. Now here's the other thing. So we're doing this, but eventually it's going to get to a place where I'm going to have to move this into the hobby room and get a better table. So we're going to be doing this again, which is okay. Trash everywhere. Got this, all kinds of stuff. Put tools back before I don't put tools back, and they end up scattered everywhere. A little maintenance upkeeping. I don't see any poo on the floor. Let's see, George asked the question, have you looked at any X-Tool Galvo lasers? Yeah, I was kind of looking into those, and I'm kind of on the fence because of the expense. Great machines from what I've seen, but they're a contender, but the Raleigh Lasermatic has bigger build area, and if their diode Galvo Frankenstein monster system comes into play, which is, I think well, I know they're doing a giveaway, and so I signed up for that, and that's got like 30 some odd days left, and then that will be released. We'll see how all that goes. Wow, look at that. So I'm kind of balancing those two options. Kyle says he's personally picked up CAD. Now make my own custom parts, buy landscaping machines, and save myself literally thousands of dollars, but other people don't think they'll hold up that long. And yeah, I mean, back in the day, 3D printers just did plastic, you know, but now they're doing carbon fiber. There's some that I saw that have like steel or metal in them. Of course, you got wood and stuff like that. But, you know, carbon fiber and all of that, just amazing. PETG, you know, handles higher heat and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just kind of amazing, you know, and for car parts, all kinds of stuff. George says, I have the F1 Ultra, a great machine, but you're right, pricey. Yeah, but it's a good machine. I mean, the quality of stuff that it puts out is incredible. And the one thing I like about Xtool is their software packages and the programs are so user-friendly from what I've seen, and they've really cornered the market on that. It just really makes it really easy to use, and so that's, you know, you're paying for that, so I get that. So that's a reason why Xtool is a contender. But Raleigh's coming out with this new one that's diode and galvo, so we'll see what happens. Talking about parts, since this is printing, Kyle says my airbox and my Kubota excavator costs $820 plus 13% sales tax. I designed and printed mine with ABS for like $10. You are the man. Yep, Kyle sticking it to the man. Yeah, this is incredible on what 3D printing can do. And, you know, even in the military, they're bringing 3D printing for parts and things like that. And eventually, so that way you can lessen the logistics that go into bringing parts from point A to the battlefield, you know, where stuff needs to get fixed. So, yeah, pretty amazing stuff. But kudos on saving $810 plus 13% sales tax. That is awesome. Oh, and we're almost done. Look at that. Wow. I'm impressed. I was dreading. We see a little bit on the bow line towards the back, a little bit of unevenness on there. And we are finishing up. But I'm wondering if that's because of the shaking table. Holy crow, look at that. We even have poo in the box. Is it done? It's done, but is it done is the question. It's making noise. The machine is retracting the blue. And there it goes down to the depths of Davy Jones' locker. Look at that. Isn't that a thing of beauty? Let's go ahead and we'll bring this out. And there it is. Wow. I am impressed. I am really impressed. Print complete, 23 minutes. And boom, there it is. You get the poop out the back. You didn't poop yet. Maybe I'll reach around and see if we got some poop. Can't reach it. That's a weird conversation. Reach around and get some poop. So, let's pull up this build plate. Oh, wow. And it's warm. That, yeah, a little bit on that bow, but holy crow. I am impressed. A little bit of poo there. And Kyle says another important thing, 2 holes on the bottom side of the build plate with sensors in them. Make 100% sure nothing gets in there by accident. I will remember that. And then, I'm assuming, there it is. We still got that. So I'm assuming you scrape that off, and that's what the scraper is for. I think there's a scraper. Which is a question that I have, because let's switch cameras here. We'll just do, no, we don't want that. Let me switch to that. And then we'll switch to this. Okay, there we go. So that was the question I had. Scraping is, because in resin printing, they will give you a scraper, and it's even a plastic scraper, but you never use the plastic scraper because it's so sharp on the corners that you can rip the FEP in your vat. So I don't know why they still include one. So my question is, with this metal scraper, I can scrape this off. I'm assuming. Let's see what happens. Oh, look at that. That is nice. That is not bad at all. Wow. So we'll just do a little tiny scrape here to get that guy off. Oh, look at that. There it is. A little bit of fuzzy on there, but nothing. Wow. Nice, nice. Of course, no one cares about that, right? Everybody wants to see the benchy. So let's take a look at the benchy and see what we get. Rick says you can just kind of bump that off with your nail, which, yeah, that's what nails are for. I should have known that. Wow. I'll tell you what, folks, I'm impressed. I am impressed. And let's go ahead and throw this back in there. Wow, there we go. All right. So let's take a look at this thing and see what we get. Okay, since we have light for everybody. And our very first benchy. Aww, it's so cute. Wow, no stringing. And we'll get a close-up for you all. Just a little bit on that bow line on the back. Wow, consistent. And a little bit of mess up on that side. But I mean, it's not the overhang. And then of course the bottom layer, you can take a look at that. You know what we're gonna do? We'll throw this on the bottom over here, and we'll bring it over and take a look. So there we have it. And let me see if I can kind of do this to kind of get more into what you end up seeing there. That's a little bright, isn't it? Let me bring this up, and that's not the one we want. We want that one, and we're going to go down to image adjustments, and we're going to go down here, and we're going to reduce the brightness. So, and there is the benchy. See if we can get it to focus. Focus there, Johnny. Look at that. Those lines are nice. I am impressed. And if we take a look at that, I'm impressed. Not bad at all. Look at the top. As I'm trying to hold it so it doesn't shake, but it shakes. That is wild. I am happy with that. That is really good. You know, we see a little bit of man, that is nice. Oh, loving it. I'll put you all back up here. That is nice. I am seeing sometimes what you end up seeing is like the lines, the layers, and usually like halfway through you'll see like a layer line shift. But no. But we do have a little bit on the bow, on this back part of the bow, that it ends up, see that little bit of right in there, and a little bit of a line there, but that is crazy. I am happy. And that's rare. So, oh, we had a little tiny bit of stringing. Tiny. So if you're wondering about stringing, there's a tiny piece of stringing like right in there. One strand. One tiny ass strand. And now it's gone. Almost gone. Yep. Of course, if I had a lighter, I'd just burn it off, but no, not done yet. Seriously. The perfectionist in me is like, "Urgh." So, yeah, that's what we got going on. Nice. I'm digging it. I'm loving it. So, anyway, yeah, I'm happy with this. I am really happy with the K2 Plus. I was really dreading it because of the reviews and people that had problems and such. But the good thing is that it's turned out great. All of the reviews of the people who bought this here in Korea, there's not one negative thing about it. So that was kind of the thing that kind of tipped me over to purchase this. But yeah, look at that. There it is in all its glory. Nice. I like it. And now our humidity is at 26. So that's good. Man, this is awesome. Keep fingers crossed that we continue to have good stuff like this. Rick ends up talking about it, and he says, hey, I've had mine for a month and printing daily. I'm going to be spending a lot of money, ain't I, Rick? Wow. First layer looks good. It's not bad, not bad. I mean, that is a lot better than what I was expecting. I mean, I've seen people do reviews and live stream and stuff like that, and this is nicer than some of people I've seen. But then there's other people who had great ones as well. Of course, I bet you if I had a better table, it might help a little bit. And then here's a question for Rick and Kyle or anybody else who's experienced. Even though this is Creality filament, and it's gone through the calibration and all that stuff, would it still be worth going through and doing the flow rate calibration, the temperature tower, pressure advance, and what was the other one? The tolerance test in Orca Slicer. I tried the Creality software slicer, Creality Print, but it just keeps flashing on Mac for some reason. It's just super annoying. And so I went with Orca. So, matter of fact, let's bring that up. But before we do that, let's kind of give a little bit of a, let me do some little desktop cleaning here. And we'll get on to this. So, where are we? Trying to find out my thing. Okay. So, we'll take a look at the desktop thing that we got over here, and we will change this to that. And, yeah, maybe I need to move that away so that I'm more in frame. There we go. But the one thing I want to take a look at is just kind of for letting people know is the K2 Plus. This is what I ended up getting. And the K2 Plus seems to be pretty good. I'm digging it so far. So we're looking at the Plus combo, $1,500. Has the CFS or the Creality filament system, which allows for 4 different filaments or 4 different types of colors of filaments, whatever, mix and match. 300 cube build area, which is nice. Step servo motors, 30,000 acceleration, and quiet. As you saw, it ends up that it prints. It's quieter than a normal conversation. And that was with, I think, with the door. With the door closed when we did the calibration, it was quiet. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. So we'll continue on with that. And what was the other? Actively heated chamber, dual AI cameras, sturdy matrix, blah, 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 and a bunch of other stuff there. Yeah, I'm happy with this. It is working out well. So belt tensioning, auto belt tensioning. Wow, that is crazy. And all this stuff is going to be standard. The only thing I kind of worry about is the extruder. And a lot of those, you know, the gears and the things that drive or pull the filament in are made of plastic of some sort. You know, high tensile strength, whatever. But why? My question is, why wouldn't they use metal gears for that if that's an area that wears out a lot? And maybe somebody like Rick or Kyle can answer this, or somebody else. But would it be worth, even at the beginning of this juncture, to purchase some metal gears and replace those? I mean, I think I could use this until it wears out, but I always just kind of wondered why companies wouldn't want to have an upgraded gear system that they would offer and be able to sell and charge a higher price and make some more money. So yeah, so about $1,500. There are some people that are talking about Korea, and so what I ended up doing is buying this. Of course, the delivery is complete, but this is the company DY Air. Is the company that I purchased it from, and 2,288,600 won. So if we start doing the math on that, it ends up on the exchange rate. It was like 1,500, I think it was. Let's see, if we take a look at this, 2288,600, and at the time I did the exchange rate, it was 2455, I think it was. So $932. So usually the fluctuations in the exchange rate here in Korea, if it was normal, 2288,600 divided by, and normally it was like 1430. It's still kind of high, but we're looking at $1,600. So, I saved some money when I exchanged on the exchange rate on that. So yeah, got a good deal on that, which is good. And then, anytime the exchange rate is high, then we exchange money on that. So with that, now the question is, if we do that, and is it automatically connected? And I don't know. Interesting. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens here. We'll have to play with this some more. But initially, yeah, I am very pleased with the results that I've gotten so far with the thing here. I'm loving it. I'm really, really loving it. So yeah, not bad, not bad. Digging it. Let's see, we got some questions. Rick says, I didn't do all of those. In other words, all the filament testing and temperature and retraction test. I planned to if I needed to, but everything's worked right out of the box. Yeah, I mean, that's honestly, yeah, why? unless you're a total geek for all this stuff. Kyle ends up talking about and says, I honestly don't bother with calibrating in Orca anymore with the K2 and the X1C. Just use generic default and it works 99% of the time from everything from PLA, ABS, TPU, and PETG. So that is good to know. Rick confirms that with the generic profile. He also says, I have to get some stuff done, so I need to jump off. I'm going to stay connected just to help your view hours. Aw, you're awesome, dude. Have a good night and enjoy your printer. Thank you. Thank you. Much appreciated. Thanks for tuning in. And have a good little errand run and do the stuff that you need to do. I think I'm going to be signing off because we're about 2.5 hours right now. So, yeah, what can I say? Definitely, the K2 Plus is working well. Of course, we did our little benchy thing, so we're good to go on that. Whether it continues on, we will see. So, we'll definitely keep everybody in the loop. And, of course, we're going to be doing some stuff in Orca Slicer and seeing how that all works. We'll do a video of, try to do a video with the multicolor since I have some colors to play with. So we'll be doing that as well. So anyway, yeah, fun stuff. This is kind of a successful unboxing. I only had to crawl under the desk once, so that's a bonus. I didn't break any doors like Uncle Jesse, so that's a bonus. George ends up saying, he says, hey, thanks for sharing your experience, and thank you and your daughter for your service. Thank you. You're welcome, but thanks for watching. And she's the one who's serving. I'm just retired now, so I'll throw all that onto her. Kyle ends up talking about it, and he says that he is heading out as well. Congrats on the new machine. Definitely be careful with those sensors on the bottom. They're important. I will make sure that nothing gets in those things with the holes in the sensors thing. So yeah, I'll definitely do that. And thanks for the tips and all that stuff. I really appreciate that. So you have a good evening as well. So for everybody else out there, I guess we can ask the question, masterpiece or mess. It seems to be living up to the claim so far, at least in regards to printing a Benchy. How long this goes, you'll have to like and subscribe to stand by for that, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. With that being said, wow, I'm huge. How did that happen? We'll go back to normal. Normal. Okay, so with that being said, please like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. If you have questions, comments, concerns, have an email, or put them in the comments section down below. And if you really want to do me a solid, you can buy me a coffee. There's a list of people I much respect who have done that. And then I also buy coffee for people, so it's almost kind of like a wash. So yeah, fun journey with the Creality K2 Plus, and with all the bells and whistles in the first print that we got, I am impressed. So I'm just going to cross my fingers and continue that this will be a great machine. So yeah, stand by for more videos with the K2 Plus and the CFS. Seems to be working out okay. All right, with that being said, I'm starving. I haven't had breakfast, and it's 12:35, so it's time for lunch. Not sure what time it is. Should be, we started about 5 Mountain Standard Time, 5, 6, 7, maybe 7:30. Get yourself a beverage, smoke another cigar, whatever it is, but I appreciate you all coming in and watching the little production that we had here. So, yeah, we'll see you. Take care on the next video. Peace. Man, I am happy. I'm very, very content. On the verge of, I guess you could say I'm happy.